Good evening, and welcome to the Rodrick Show. As you know, this is our Halloween special where we'll be celebrating the paganistic rituals which first formed our country together, which the founding fathers first came over to bring all their slaves and mistresses and whatnot. In honor of these rituals, we'll be interviewing acclaimed actress Kristen Kelly. Kristen, will you please join us? Kristen!
Thank you so much.
A round of applause, everyone. Kristen!
The type of movies I do, no one ever says that. Thank you.
Well, it's true, you always play the wonderful woman of the night, especially in her latest film, which she filmed in Cairo, where she plays a pagan woman who lives inside the bottom of a pyramid for many years, and she tries to conceive children with stone statues. Now, Kristen, don't cry about it. We know it's only for the camera. It's okay, my dear. It's okay.
You
the
don't
character
understand.
is so dramatic. So dramatic. What a wonderful character you play, my dear.
Thank you.
Many say you're a typed character, but I don't believe this.
No, I am. You know, many people don't know this about me, but I love blood. Love it. And I kind of always been a woman of the night.
Well, you know, I first started as a butcher.
Mm-hmm.
What a wonderful thing that we have in common, you know? I started in the streets, chopping up the animals as a child.
Oh, I love that. I love how raw and the motion.
There's nothing like a cleaver against the sound of a dead cow's skin. Well, you know, I received most of my inspiration from the ancient Aztecs, who used to love to cut up animals as well as humans, chopped them up in large piles, and put them in the night and have parties all over them. Because sometimes blood and flesh can be about celebrating. And that's exactly what Halloween's all about.
Yeah, that's how I look at it too. Not many people do. No, not at all.
It's very interesting, you know.
It is. It's very animal.
Which is very much like your book, The Lost Dog of the Night. Where in the end the dog ends up getting chopped up, put in a food processor, and served to the children for breakfast. How interesting with your childhood. Will you please read us a chapter from your book?
Of course.
With the children. It was just such a wonderful book. It was very touching. I stayed up all night and read it 10 times at least. Or so I remember. Who knows?
It was November 22nd. It was cold out. I remember how cold it was because it reminded me of my mother's touch.
Oh, her mother's touch. She did have a good touch, didn't she?
Mommy was dead at this point. She used to love to dress up in those crazy outfits.
Is that how you were inspired to become an actress yourself?
Well, actually, it kind of happened perchance. I didn't go into the world thinking, I'm going to become an actress. I kind of was just trying to survive on my own.
Really?
I was, and I was walking the streets of Calcutta. This man approached me, and he said to me, "White girl. White girl!" And I said, "Yes." And he said, "Get in my vehicle." And I said, "All right." And I got in it, and I didn't know at the time what sex slavery was, but I learned quickly.
How interesting. How you touch on it in your children's book.
I do. Everything that has to do with this season is so... I can't even describe it. It makes me feel so just hot.
How interesting.
Yes.
I know. I just ran over a squirrel yesterday when I was cutting my lawn.
Did you get it? You picked it up, right?
Well, first it got all chopped up. There were several pieces. I had to pick them up. I put them in a Ziploc baggie. Then I put them in the refrigerator for a couple hours and let them marinate with a little bit of wine and some garlic.
Sounds delicious.
I left the fur too. It always adds a little bit of texture. Then I took it out, fried it with some eggs. It was delicious for a noontime snack.
Do you have any leftovers?
I ate them all. And what was left,
I would have too.
I gave to the children of the neighborhood. They came around early for some early trick-or-treating. I gave them that and a bottle of scotch. They're very nice.
Love the children. Look how generous you are.
I know. I do love the children.
A little trick that I actually have on my last page is how you can take the bones when you're done and make jewelry out of them.
How wonderful! It must have been a wonderful pastime for you during your sexing.
It was. Many of those girls, they would cry at night. They didn't like it. I loved it.
We have to embrace the moment.
I did. That's what I always thought. Life is too short. Life is too short. Like my dog that my mom, killed and fed to us as a child. I cried at first. And then I knew how right Mommy was. Because the dog had a good life.
Was this before or after your mother plated the dog's head on the wall over the fireplace?
This was after.
Because I know how after the dog's head on the wall was such an inspiration to you. knowing that the hen was watching you in the night when you were sleeping.
I actually think you're thinking of Toodles. He was our dog that we had before.
Oh, that was the other dog.
I love
There's
Toodles.
so many dogs. It gets confusing after.
Well, mommy we only tend to have him for a short time.
I know, your mother did have a saying, pets always are disposable, just like handbags. Many of her handbags were made out of old pets. Your mother had such a
chapter on that
fashion
in the book too.
Really?
Accessories. Mommy gave me the littlest knife.
Aww, your mother was so wonderful.
I was scared. I was scared if I cut off a finger or something, she would eat it, so.
She did have a way. At the end, they said she only had about 3 fingers of her own left.
Mommy was clumsy.
Well, anyways, Miss Kelly, it was really wonderful to have you on the show. We'd love to have you on again. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
Thank you. The fingers are still there. Let's got one. Good evening. We'll be back with you in a short while with our next characters, which we'll be interviewing.